Hello there and welcome along. I'm the Gardener Ben, and today I am quite literally surrounded by the peony that I'm going to talk to you about. This golden beauty is Peony ludlowii, also known as the Ludwoods peony, sometimes referred to as the Tibetan peony. This is a little bit different. You may have noticed this is actually a shrub and not a herbaceous peony. This one reaches very reliably about 1.5 meters by around 2.5 meters, something in the region of about 5 feet tall and around 8 feet wide. So a really substantial upright and open woody shrub. This particular plant was planted by myself around 4 years ago, and this is the very first time that it's flowered, and you can see it's putting on really quite the show. Unlike most peonies, the tree peony will actually flower on old wood and requires very little pruning whatsoever. So don't be tempted to go around nipping bits and pieces off of it, because all you'll cause it to do is grow very vigorously and produce very few flowers. If it does get out of hand and you need to thin it back and actually reduce its size a little, what you can do is take out about 1 in every 5 or 6 stems, and I suggest you take them right to the floor. This is normally done right at the very beginning of the season and allow it to produce growth right from the very base, which will produce flowers in around 3, 4 or sometimes 5 years time. This particular one flowers really quite early, and in late April to the very beginning of May it's going to produce these large bracts or groups of golden flowers. As the plant matures, they're going to get slightly larger than they're displayed here. These ones are relatively small, only around 4 or 5 inches across. Eventually these will create a peony flower almost 12 centimeters in diameter, so really quite large and quite showy. Let's have a look at some of the foliage for you. The foliage is incredibly light, very soft. It is really beautiful and mixes very nicely with other things in the garden. Now, because this particular tree peony comes up quite tall, and I'm 5'7", you can see behind me it's almost as or slightly taller than myself. You can actually surround this with lots of herbaceous cottage garden plants and even underplant it with short roses that reach around 2 to 3 feet in height. But the foliage mixes really well with things. It's very deeply serrated and very textured, very soft. It retains this lovely light fresh green color all the way through the season. It's really lovely to touch. It's nice and soft, the kind of thing you want to sort of run your hands by as you walk past it. But it really is rather beautiful. The flowers, as I say, golden, bright golden, primary yellow, very bold. I'm going to have to pick one of these and bring it up close to you. Let's take the one from behind me so you can actually see it. You can see a semi-double flower with 2 rows of petals around the outside, and that really tightly packed stamens in the center, that lovely golden eye filled with pollen and filled with interest for pollinators. As the plant is actually pollinated, this particular one will drop all of the stamens, which was really quite unusual. This one behind me, let's go pick to another one. I noticed this doing this a couple of days ago. This particular flower, I'm going to step closer to the camera so you can see. Now that this particular one has been pollinated, all of the stamens have fallen away from this flower, leaving the central pollinated seed pod now exposed. That's now going to become engorged and produce a seed pod. But originally, as the flower opens, absolutely packed with hundreds and hundreds of stamens, all smothered in pollen. The bumblebees absolutely adore this flower, really beautiful. But it's the color, that striking butter gold color that glows, and this particular peony does really well in a whole multitude of different locations in the garden. Plant it in full sun or in partial shade on an alkaline or a slightly acidic soil. It doesn't really mind. The only thing that it minds is it's got plenty of organic matter, it's rich in humus and has plenty of nutritional value, and it remains damp. Give it those things and this particular peony will grow absolutely anywhere. Fragrance wise, very much like a lot of the peonies I was talking to you about this time last year. A very distinctive fragrance on the peony. It does have a fragrance. It's warm with notes of pollen, as you would expect, with all of those hundreds and hundreds of tightly packed stamens in there. And it smells slightly of chalk and Elizabeth Arden talcum powder. It's not a fragrance I particularly like on these peonies, but it does have a fragrance. It adds another note of interest to this particular one. So this is Peony ludlowii, otherwise known as a Tibetan peony, a type of tree peony reaching around 1.5 meters tall and around 2.5 meters in diameter. Perfect for planting and mixing with cottage garden plants and a whole host of small roses as long as they're small. Growing in a multitude of places in the garden, from full sun to partial shade on any different type of soil. But this is an absolute beauty. Make sure if you decide you're going to grow this one, you give yourself a little bit of time, because it flowers on old wood. You get to get it to a mature size before it's actually going to start putting on a show for you. So make sure you don't become disappointed. You give yourself 3, 4 or sometimes even 5 years to actually allow it to flower, and you should be rewarded with these beautiful golden flowers with these masses and masses of lovely golden stamens in the center, that wonderful chalky, almost chalky smell, almost like talcum powder, and a very early flowering variety as well. Look out for the reel that I'll produce on this particular variety, as well as a set of still images that will be coming over the next few days. I hope you've enjoyed this particular review. Don't forget to like, follow and share, and I will see you all again very soon. Take good care now. Bye bye.